Welcome back or welcome if this is your first time visiting Heart to Heart, Less Like More Hearts, peer virtual support group meeting that meets the second Thursday of every month, where we have health and wellness experts that come on, or amputee related topics or specialists, so that we can hopefully promote folks learning as much as they can, validating their journeys, connecting with one another with the overall goal to improve quality of life. And I think that that starts through community and through vulnerability with each other. We've been building this amazing space for 2 years, and we've got some amazing content that's come out of it. If you haven't already, take a peek at our YouTube channel. Less Like More Heart has a channel there. Subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you can get continuing updates on the new content that we always post, which includes these recordings and also some of the TV show stuff that I do, and a lot of our media team that puts different videos up about limb loss related topics. So that was just the housekeeping. Oh, we got so many people here. I love it. So I wanted to jump in today. As you guys know, and those that might be watching this back, this is a part two. I think this might be the first time that we've done a part two because, quite frankly, part one from last month was so incredible, not just in attendance, but in some of the conversations that you guys brought up. And it's all stemming from what we wish that we knew being an amputee. And the idea is to validate each other's journeys, but also for new amputees or people that are impending amputation. Wouldn't it have been nice, right? Us back in our journey way back when we found out we were going to lose a limb, or we woke up and our limb was lost, that someone could have said, hey, go watch this video of 30 amputees basically telling you the real deal. I mean, that would have been really incredible, and it's going to be a great resource for other people as well. So we had gotten last time through the first two of 5 sections in this sort of compilation, I thought, of what it would mean to people to hear this back about being an amputee. We had talked about the physical recovery and adaptation piece. We had also talked about the emotional and the mental health piece. And so for today, I'm going to drop it in the chat so you guys can see it as well, so you can start thinking about what you'd like to say or contribute. And I'll put it, of course, in the playback for folks. But we're going to talk today about practical daily life hacks. I'm sure we all have quite a few and unique solutions. So adaptive tools and home modifications, travel and transportation tips is a huge one, prosthetic maintenance and backup plans, and then clothing, shoes, and comfort adjustments that we've incorporated into our life. And then the second piece is going to be relationships and social life. So how family and friends can best support us, and also what not to do, dating, intimacy, and communication, and advocating for your needs at work, school, or in any public places. And then the final part, if we get to it, because we had such a great conversation, we could always do a part three. I know the person in charge here, so but it would be finding purpose and community. So the role of volunteerism, advocacy, mentorship, staying active, like sports, hobbies, adaptive fitness, and reframing your loss into growth and new opportunities. So that being said, I can't wait to see the conversations that we have. And just like last time, I'm going to sort of open it up because y'all had a lot of incredible things to say. I want to hear less of me and more of all of you wonderful stories. So let's start at the top. I'll drop it in the chat so you guys can see all those talking points. Also, feel free in your talking points or in the chat to put your name, where you're from, your amputation level. If you have any specific questions that you are looking for answers, or problems that you're looking for solutions for, that's all stuff in the chat that a lot of us amputees may be able to direct you to something before we're off the call. So opening it up with practical daily life hacks. I would love for you guys to share with me any types of adaptive tools or home modifications that you have in place to make your life a little less challenging. Go ahead and hand raise, and I'll just go ahead and call on people, and you can unmute yourself. Who's got a fun adaptation that they use, or even just a basic one? I'll start while I wait for hands to be raised. Obviously, I have a shower chair. So I have a shower chair and I have a shower head extension cord, and I was able to get a little suction cup shower head holder from Amazon that I send to a lot of amputees, so that I can actually post the head right next to where I am, so I can use both of my hands when I'm doing the stuff I have to do. Because boy, those shower chairs get slippery when you get soap on them, it turns out. Go ahead, Barb. Oh, I'm just unmuting you. Just hit the unmute button.
Sorry. Mine's just a little one, but when I came home after my amputation, I realized that the knobs to my stove are in the back instead of in the front. So I bought a 17-inch pair of tongs, and that's what I use to turn the stove on. It's a small one, but it means a lot.
Hey, you know what? The little things are the big things we found out through this journey, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Yes, that's right. Who else has adaptations? Go ahead, Tina, or Tina, excuse me. And again, just got to unmute.
Yeah. Well, this happened to me today, and I was thankful I had another one in the car. I was leaving a hospital from having a test, and when I'm out in public, I still use my cane most of the time. I'm almost to where I don't need it, but I still use it, and it broke. And this lady was walking by, and she said, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, I think I can make it to my car." And there was other people just watching, didn't offer to help. But I made it to the car, but I do keep an extra cane in my car. So that's a good tip.
Honestly, these assistance devices are incredible, including our prosthetic, until they don't work. And if you don't have a backup plan, we've all been probably there where that's a whole situation. So you're so right. Backup plans are huge. Who else has some fun or common adaptations? Yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
So I finally broke down and got a bar in the shower and a shower leg. And I got to tell you, that made the world of difference for me. Um, I had installed a shower chair as well.
Yep.
So those things, and the handle for the shower handle does come off. It's a magnet, and there's a magnet on where it comes out of the wall, and there's also a lower magnet so I can clip it or just hang it lower so that it's within reach.
That's amazing. What kind of leg did you get for the shower leg?
Geez, I don't know. It's not, the ankle is inflexible, so it's just a you know um solid foot. But I don't know the make of
That's
it.
okay. No
But
problem. You're like, it's a metal one. I actually asked somebody at a conference one day. I go, hey,
yeah,
what foot are you walking in? Because he was walking hobbly. And
right.
he goes, oh, metal one. And he had no idea that there was like
Yeah.
models. But don't worry about it. As long as it works for you,
Yep,
that's to your
it
point.
does.
It can really
Yep,
open the world up when you have something that is water safe, you know?
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. How about Jenny?
Oh, I think okay. I have to tell you because the shower thing is really good. My husband rigged it up, but I like that big long seat somebody loaned me. That was really nice. And then we have an orphan grain train, and they loan out a lot of these things. And I actually, one thing I use a lot is the attachment on the front of my walker because I don't have my prosthetic yet. So I have to get around that way. And it's really helpful because there's everything I can carry around and do with it on that. But we were really lucky because we had an extra walker. So I have one in my bedroom. I have one that I use out here, one that's in the car. And so those are really nice because I take the wheelchair in before I go to bed. So then when I have to get up to go to the bathroom, I have the walker to go to the bathroom. In the morning, I have the wheelchair to get me out. It's really been clever. There's a lot of things that I'm just finding that I'm actually, I'm commending myself for figuring things out because there's a lot of things you can do that I'm learning a lot from the groups I'm in. So it's been interesting.
Oh, you're right. But to your point, I've been an amputee 9 years and I'm still learning stuff from you guys. And I'm the founder of an organization that helps people all over the place. I mean, it's just, you're so, and even when you think you go to a conference or an expo or a new product comes out. And that's why it's so important to have these community gatherings because the more eyes finding these things, the better. So yeah, you're right. Thank you for sharing. Go ahead, Christina.
There we go. For me, what really helped, and I still have it, is chairs. I have chairs placed in just about every room. There's 2 in the bathroom, there's 3 in here, I got them all over. So if I'm on my crutches or whatever, there's a chair nearby. And when I fall, I just sit down.
Yeah.
And I have a wheelchair, but at one point I was like, I'm done with you, wheelchair, go out in the garage. And then something happened and it was winter. And if you've used crutches, you know that wet crutch tips mean, whew, they just give out. So I really needed that wheelchair. So I keep the wheelchair inside. Also have a knee roller so that whenever I come up against, I have the tools and I don't have to, you know, stress over it because I already know the drill. Definitely a second on the shower bars. That took me almost a year and a half to get those. And then the third one, it's kind of funny. I was on a 4-mile walk with Willow here, and I was 2 miles out. And my foot's loose, you know? And I'm like, when did I Loctite those? Long story short, I literally had a screw loose. One of the screws was like 3/4 of the way out. And all I could, and it's a gravel road, and all I can do is think about, okay, am I going to have to crawl to my car? How long is it going to, how long is it going to take to crawl 2 miles? I did a lot of praying and I made it back, and the foot didn't fall off, but it was like that loose by the time. So I have a go bag,
Yeah.
Band-Aids, extra
You-
parts,
Yes.
another one of these.
You learn the hard way that you need that, right? And then,
Yeah.
and then you're like, I'm not putting myself in that position again.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
get another one of these that you always have with you.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much. John. John Warner, there you go.
You jumped to me. A few things I got, because it worked out that I retired, and then 2 months later, my legs started giving me problems. And I became, a couple months after that, right below knee.
Mm.
And one thing was getting in and out of the house. My one daughter found a nice ramp that we were able to put in place. I had a friend build a platform outside the door because it was about a 10-inch step. And he put in a platform, and then we got the ramp. And then I used some of my retirement money to put a stair lift in. I got a chair to go up to the second floor. And, we tried to arrange things for that. And now that I'm getting around on my prosthetic and whatnot, I don't really need those things, but they're nice to be there. And what worked out is we now have, my other daughter has her daughter, our granddaughter, who's turned 14 and has ended up with an inoperable brain tumor that's cancerous. And they've already done a lot of stuff. So now it's a matter of keeping her comfortable as we can for how long she's going to be here. And so she's being able to use the ramp, her mother, to get the wheelchair in and out of the house, and to get her upstairs on the stair lift to take a shower and whatnot. So the things that I got when I needed 6 years ago is now helping out my granddaughter. So it kind of lucked out that way, but it was kind of the stuff that I got. The big thing that I did, which when I was going outside with my wheelchair, we had a dirt driveway. And I'm like, this isn't fun. And I says, it's time. I'm going to use some of my money and get our driveway paved. Well, I hired a company, got a quote, and by the time they got around to actually pave my driveway, I wasn't in my wheelchair anymore. But we love having the paved driveway. It's so much nicer. So just things that I did.
Yeah, wow. Well, I'm sending all my love to your family. That's going to be so challenging. But yeah, getting some extra use out of stuff, especially with the price point, is always nice. And I'm glad that at least those access points are comfortable. And we'll send all of our love your way. Gisa, is that how I say it? Gisa?
Yeah, it's Gisa. So it turns out I'd like to tag on to something that John said. Luckily, I live in a ranch house, but on the outside to get into the house, I've got only like 3 steps, but they're pretty high. And then I also have a couple steps in the back patio. And what I did, luckily, they're pretty wide. So I had somebody just nail some planks of wood in between the steps. So that way they're like half the height. Sorry, my dogs are acting up. Somebody's walking by. But the steps are now like half the height than they had been. And that makes such a big difference in the steps that I have to pull myself up on.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else? While I'm waiting for the last phase of hands to go up, I'm a big fan of accessibility devices as well. And so I have a manual wheelchair, and I have a 4-year-old at home. And so obviously it's hard to manually wheel when you've got a kid that also wants you to consistently feed him goldfish into his mouth. It's a hard thing to do. So I ended up getting a stroller attachment that actually is like a little bike that is for typical strollers. And I actually mounted that to the front frame of my manual chair. And I was able to get him around to museums and stuff. And recently I was borrowing a scooter and I did a fair, but my friend needed her battery back. So I was without a scooter. Amputee Aid, shout out, actually gave me a grant and I was able to get another scooter for fair season, which is big here in New Hampshire. And man, I feel like a Hot Wheels with that thing, but it, travel scooter, getting around airports is easier. So I really love being able to work harder, not smarter, because you guys probably can relate. I almost feel, and I think Cindy had talked about this on the last call, where you've got like a bandwidth for the day in terms of your energy sometimes. And, I could walk or I could do the things, but then you pay for it on the other end. And then what can't you do after because you did overdo it earlier? So it makes my life easier. Go ahead, Julie.
So I have a couple of things that have really helped with my life. We were forced in March out of our handicap accessible apartment and into a place that is not handicap accessible. So I had a relative that came in and the floors, it's all on one level, but the entryway in had a couple of different levels. Not full on steps, but just uneven pavement, weird transitions on the doors, in and out. So we had our bathroom door widened and he put in transition strips that make it to where I can get out to my car, in and through the entire house with my wheelchair if needed,
Nice.
which made it a lot smoother. We also, our landlords had put down a bunch of doormats that ended up being a real tripping hazard. So they had no problem removing those for us. And then the last thing that I have that really helps me every day is in December, I bought a new car, and a new to me car. It's a used car, but it's lower to the ground. I drove a Chevy Blazer, which was high off the ground, and I could not get my wheelchair in and out of it by myself. And it was even hard to stand on my left leg and get into the car safely. So I now drive a Ford Escape, and it's lower to the ground. It's still four-wheel drive. It's great in the snow, but it's low enough to where I can also get my wheelchair in and out easily.
Nice.
So those are just a couple of little things that I've done to make my life easier.
Thank you so much for sharing. And of course, if you're a BK here and you haven't heard of iWalk, you can check that out for bad leg days or getting up to urinate at night. It makes it easier than slapping on a freezing cold liner sometimes. And the crutches from Canada, side stick crutches, are really nice, especially for active people or people that are in snow, because they have turbo tips and they have hiking tip attachments that are good for sand and also for snow. So if you guys haven't heard of those things, those might be things to look into. And of course, if there's financial barriers, just let us know. Awesome. Any other comments, or let's move on to the next point, because I like the next one. Okay, good. Thank you so much for your points, guys. Okay, so travel and transportation tips. This is a point of contention and fear for a lot of people with disabilities because of all of the trouble, right? Our equipment gets broken when we check it, or things don't show up when we get there, or you miss gates because you're relying on mobility services, or there's not an Uber wave and you're a wheelchair dependent individual, or just the list goes on and on and on. So I would love to open up for folks to comment on their travel experiences, whether they're good or bad, just shine light on the challenges we face traveling. And then also, if there's any kind of tips that you've gotten along the way. I, of course, have some to share. And we did cover accessible travel in a previous video that you can find on our YouTube, but I would love to resurrect the topic because it's really common. Go ahead, Kim.
Okay. I learned about TSA Cares last year. You call about 72 hours before your flight. They will make sure that somebody meets you where you're being dropped off at. They'll wheel you all through there to the TSA security checkpoint, and then they will continue to wheel you to your area where you're going to be flying. They can wheel you onto the plane. Whether you have your own wheelchair, that's great, but I don't. have one that I want to lug around with me because I normally just walk with my prosthetics, but some of the airports are humongous. So it's a lot of walking. But that's one tip. The other one is I use my Dry Pro sleeve, prosthetic sleeve, which you put it over your prosthetic and you vacuum pack. You have a little ball, you squeeze all the air out of it, and you can wear it in the shower, standing up. You can wear it in the pool, in the ocean. You know, it's great. But I just heard the company is no longer they sold it, so they're getting ready to uptake it again and maybe do some changes or whatever. You can get certain types of cast covers too. I looked it up for someone else, and you can go on eBay too, and you can get them a lot cheaper. The Dry Pro sleeves, people that never use them or maybe only barely use them, like $25 as opposed to $70, you know, or whatever. So, yeah, those are two things I'm getting ready to go to Empower Fest. So I'm taking it with me so I can get in the pool with my leg on and not have to figure out how I'm going to get my old chubby butt scooted across the floor or anything. I like to exercise in the pool with that cover on. So I just, you know, if you want to know more about it, you can look it up, Amazon or eBay or something like that, and see if you can find one. So.
Thank you so much, Kim. Go ahead, Sean.
Hi. I fly United mostly when possible, because if you let them know in advance, in my case, I fly out of Chicago usually. You get off the bus, you go straight to the United booth. They check my wheelchair. A wheelchair pusher comes, picks me up, takes me to the gate. Similar to the last person said, you zip right through TSA, you zip right through all of the security, and it's just, I probably could walk to the gate, but I would be soaked in sweat for the next 4 hours on the plane, and I prefer not to be. So it's really a wonderful service. Of course, I tip the person pushing me, and I feel like it's a small price to pay to get really like concierge service.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much. Go ahead, Van.
Oh yes, when I travel, I usually roll all of my out. I guess this will work best for us guys rather than the women. But I roll all of my outfits together. I roll them up. I heard a long time ago from a flight attendant that if you roll your clothing up rather than lay it flat in your luggage, that you can pack more into it. So I usually just take like a shirt, pair of undergarment, and my shorts and whatever I wear for that day. And I roll Monday up, pack it away. I roll Tuesday up, pack it away Wednesday. So I can just grab one cylinder or one rolled up outfit and be ready to go.
That's a good hack. It's a military hack I learned from my family in the military. And what's good about the roll technique is that if you're bringing an extra leg or socket, you could just shove one of those rolls right into the socket, and now you're maximizing your space. That's awesome, Van. Thank you. Go ahead, Julie.
So I travel every 10 weeks from my island home in Ketchikan, Alaska, to Seattle for medical treatment for I have shots in my eyes, and I bring my own personal wheelchair. I used to, when I first started going, I would call TSA Cares, but I found that in the town that I live in, I don't have to. So I show up at the airport, and literally Alaska Airlines treats you like a king or queen. I mean, it's amazing. So I gate check my wheelchair. I'm the first one on. One of my hacks that I always do when I fly is I always get an aisle seat because I'm a left below the knee. So I always sit on the right side of the plane in an aisle seat so that I can put my leg out if needed. But then I also will pop my leg off and put it straight on the top of my prosthetic so that my knee is not bent the entire flight. And that keeps my leg from swelling up. So I do that every single flight that I take. I've never had any problems. And the other thing is once I get there, SeaTac is huge, and it's literally a mile from where the plane lands down to baggage claim. But I have gotten to the point now I do it by myself every time. I have no problems. I self-propel down. I get my baggage, and then I can either go. I don't usually rent a car. I have once, and that was really easy too, because then I rented with Alamo National, and they actually brought the car to the entry for me, which was very nice. And but then if I don't, then I just take my baggage out to the sidewalk, and my family members will come and pick me up, and it's really easy. So those are just a couple of simple hacks for me. The other thing, the last thing is I have a bag that was given to me by a friend that I put on the back of my wheelchair that has anything that I absolutely have to have with me at all times. And Alaska Airlines is especially good about helping you get to your seat. And also, if you are not able to walk to your seat, they have a fabulous, really narrow wheelchair that goes right down the aisle, and they transfer people right into their seats. It's incredible. So I think a lot of times it depends on the airline that you fly, but you know, I fly Alaska because I don't have another choice. But
Yeah.
they really are amazing.
That's wonderful to hear. I know that there's a lot of horror stories from, you know, our organization is sanctioned to help anybody with an acquired ambulatory condition. So in the beginning, we were helping a lot of spinal cord injuries, and there were some horror stories about what you're talking about as an aisle chair, an aisle wheelchair, where, you know, when they would get to their layovers or to their destination, the site that they had gotten to wouldn't have one or didn't have one in the terminal. And so they'd have to be like physically carried out. And so it's, you know, it's, you got to mirror the bad and the good. But I wanted to also share that mobility services that are inside airports, they're not owned by the airports. It's a third-party company, and they're not, well, they're variably trained and sometimes may or may not speak a language that's congruent with yours. And so, and their sensitivity training for disability is, in my opinion, traveling quite often, not the most current. So you need to allow for time for the process of check-in. Sometimes there's a wheelchair deficit in places where there may be a lot of geriatric people or people that have disabilities. I've had to wait sometimes almost 2 hours to have a chair available to bring me through the airports. You know, there's a lot of stuff that can cause delays, so getting there ahead of time is helpful. But I will share a fun story. In my scooter, so I travel alone with my son, who's 4. And I now will bring my scooter. You got to make sure that your batteries are TSA or flight, you know, stable. Most of them are, but I can roll with my scooter with one hand on the throttle and a bag, luggage bag hooked to the back of the chair. And then my son will ride on a ride-on motorcycle shaped travel carry-on luggage, and it straps him in like a seatbelt, and it's a motorcycle, so he's going fast and I'm on my scooter, and we just zip right through there. It's so easy, so fun. He's having a great time. So if anyone ever travels with someone young, just know that you can do it with a disability. You do have to get a little creative and find the right props, but man, we are a spectacle out there in the airport. So I just wanted to give you guys some confidence that if we can do it, you guys can do it too. Anybody
I
else?
want to see a picture of that. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, I actually have it somewhere on my phone, and I'll post it. I'll get it out on my Instagram, and but it's really neat. And our setup for the fairs is pretty cool too, because the new scooter that Amputee Aid had gotten me on Amazon, they actually sell a T-bar that you can attach to the back that actually holds the handle of a wagon, and so it locks it in. So I actually can. I'm basically like a train, and the kids get strapped in their wagon behind me, and man, we're scooting all around. So yeah, I'll show my setups and the setup on my manual rig as well. That way you guys can see the setup for little ones. But thank you guys. Any other travel tips? I think Uber Wave, if you guys don't know about it, some cities have Uber Wave wheelchair accessible vans. So if you're in a wheelchair or you need a wheelchair accessible vehicle, that's an option. You can bring like crutches or fold up chairs. They have space inside the airplane for that as well, if that's something that is helpful to you. Bringing an extra set of things is usually helpful. And also there's a lot of rental companies around the country, anywhere that you travel or even the world, that will sell you or will rent you wheelchairs or scooters in the case that they break yours on the airline or something happens to yours. So that's something to look into. Go ahead, Erica. Hi.
Hey, Tina. So I traveled recently. I went on a weekend trip and I forgot my crutches at home. And I ended up using the rolly chair that was in the hotel room as like a wheelchair to get back and forth to the bathroom from the bed after I took my leg off. Sometimes just improvision is what gets you through. That's the
It's
improv
so
in life,
great.
you know?
Yeah, you gotta, once you come to a place of acceptance and you're comfortable with the stairs, it just comes down to the fact that like, I just need to do these things comfortably. I had forgotten a wheelchair and one of my crutch tips broke when I was going to some shopping center. I was with my mother. It was years and years ago. And so she went over to the front desk and she got a rolling chair and she pushed me all around Marshall's in the rolling chair. And
I love it.
it was a great experience. You do what you got to do, right?
Absolutely.
Well, thank you. Any other travel or transportation tips? I know that someone mentioned in the comments the left foot accelerator. We've had actually some amputees that have come through our programs that are devastated that they'll never drive again. And they were just told that they're never going to drive again when they were a right below the knee amputee, which is preposterous because for a couple of $100 or less, you get a left foot accelerator and quick modification, and your whole life comes back to you and you get that autonomy. So if you guys are not doing things, or other amputees are not doing things in the world like driving and major things that bring them the world, get them in touch with us. Go to the amputee in need form in the contact section of our website and like let us help them find solutions because there are so many out there. All right, next tip, because we're already halfway through the time, guys. It flies so fast. The next one was prosthetic maintenance and backup plans. I know that someone had recently shared one of those, but does anyone have a story about something that unexpectedly went wrong, and whether they had a backup plan there, or if they had it, it would have made life a lot easier, and what they'd learned from that? Go ahead, Ginny.
Oh my gosh. The other day, I don't have my prosthetic over. I'm in the room where the prosthetics, the lady that was putting it on, she got it on and we took it off, on and off, tried it. And I am not kidding you, she could not get it off. And it scared me because I said, oh my gosh, what would I do if this happened at home? And she said, well, you wouldn't believe how many people have to come in to get it off. And she tried water, she tried everything to try to get it off. She literally had to take the Allen wrench and take it all completely apart. And it was like, this is my first experience. I said that I just didn't know those things can happen, but it was like, oh, and it was like hurting. She kept pulling and pulling and pulling. And finally, when she took it all apart, she had to get in and, whatever that little button, whatever that is, that latch thing, caught up on something. And it was like, oh, what would I do if it happened to me at home?
Oh my gosh. I know I had that same experience. My son, when he was an infant, put a crayon. I was in a pin system at the time. I didn't know. And I fully locked my pin down. And boy, that Crayola crayon was like a super glue. And I could not get the pin. And I started to have like a panic because, to your point, I have a vascular condition. So I lose blood flow anyway. I have to take my leg off all the time. And so I was starting to get symptoms from not having blood flow. And then I started to panic because I couldn't get it off. Do you know what I did? Baby oil, because I had a baby. I took a bottle of baby oil and I sprayed the inside of my liner with a bunch of
Oh,
baby oil,
wow.
and then the whole liner system slipped right off. So that's a really good
Well,
hack for folks. Is
that's a good
get
idea.
something oily and get it down in your liner that will melt in, and then you can just pull the whole system off. But yeah,
Oh my
that's
gosh. Oh my gosh.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Lisa.
Where there's a will,
For
there's a
me?
way.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say my first prosthetic I got, I had a really bulbous end to my stump, and they had a hard time fitting a prosthetic. So what they finally gave me was a pin lock system that had like a door in the back that was held together with this really strong um, ties, and there was a knob, and I would, once I got my leg in, I would screw the knob and it would tighten around my, the stump. And one time I was walking, and all of a sudden the string broke, and so my prosthetic popped open right as I was taking a step, and I kind of stumbled. Luckily, I didn't fall, but I couldn't walk in it because it was open. And so what I did was I took some duct tape and taped the prosthetic together so that I could walk, and then I called my clinician right away, and they fixed it for me. But I was like freaking out because I didn't know how I was going to walk with it being completely open.
That's
So the
terrible.
duct tape is a great resource to have in the house anyhow.
Oh, you're right. I've got a go bag. We'll talk about a go bag. Actually, that's a great point. At the end of this, we'll talk about what items are in it because to your point, some of the most random MacGyver, and I'm not a builder brain, but some of the most random MacGyver things I've put together and just like patted myself on the back. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I was wondering if I could share a screen and I could show the left foot gas pedal that I have in my truck.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Give me just a minute here.
Yeah, I can make you the co-host. You can do that.
Sharing is turned off.
Oh, I just changed it for you.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
While you're pulling it up, I'm going to let Sean tell us his story.
This is just on the note of if the socket breaks and it's broken open. I found, or I should give my wife credit, a airplane clamp, just like a hose clamp that you can get at Ace Hardware. It's similar to the duct tape solution, except it's not as hard to get rid of once it's on there. You can tighten it with a screwdriver, and I wouldn't want to live with it for long, but long enough to get back to the prosthetist and get it fixed properly.
Where do you get that? Just
Ace Hardware, just any hardware store. I'm talking about just most people think of them as hose clamps. You use a screwdriver and they get tighter and tighter the more you turn it, and it works brilliantly.
That's a great thing to know. Thank you. Go ahead, Johnny. Are you able to get it up there? Can you guys see that? Thumbs up or thumbs down? We got some thumbs up. All right.
Yeah, that's it. And it's cheaper than when I got it over 6 years ago.
Oh, yeah, that's great. That's
And the nice thing is that one that's showing there, this part here, it's got a little clip and it removes and just the base stays in. So in a less than a minute, it can go back to regular gas pedal and anybody could drive it. And
That's
the nice thing is this setup, I use my left foot on this pedal and then the brake pedal is in between. This is just a block, so you can't push on the regular gas pedal.
Yep.
So that works real nice. I had a friend help me install it. I was sitting in my wheelchair working inside, putting the bolts down through, and he got underneath and was putting the nuts on the bolts to hold it in. And I've been driving with that in my truck for over 6 years.
Good for you. Thank you so much for sharing. It's a great thing for people to know. I would love Erica's cat to tell us their story. Yep.
So this is Evan.
Hi,
And
Evan.
he loves Zoom. He's actually he's my friend's cat. My friend was in an accident recently and is in the hospital. So Evan is staying with me and he's quite a ham. And my friend is doing well. He's out of the ICU. So
Good.
yeah. But I wanted to say that if you do have a left foot gas pedal installed in your car and you take your car to the mechanic or have a valet parking it or a family member wants to move your car, always insist that your left foot gas pedal be removed. Pull on that little pin and pop it out. It takes 3 seconds to get it out. Even people who want to try driving with it, don't let them. Your car is way too valuable for your independence. So if you take it, if you're pulling into the garage, have your car worked on, just pull the pin and pop it out and don't put it back in until you are ready to drive.
What a good pro tip. Thank you. Thank you, Erica. Go ahead, Tina.
I'm a right above knee and I drive, but I don't have the left foot accelerator. My prosthesist put what's called a rotator and I can actually flip my foot upside down. I tell people it's my party trick. So when I drive, I flip that button and then it goes in behind my left leg and gives me all kinds of room. And then I just drive with my left foot.
Yeah. Yeah. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. I have heard some kind of horror stories, depending on the state that you live in. There can be some serious red tape and hurdles that folks have to jump through when they're trying to get their license back. If you've gone to a rehab facility and you are a right-sided lower limb amputee and you're transparent about that. Some states, even Massachusetts was one that I heard, had revoked the driver's license and then had to make this person basically do driving, like a driving school training in order to get their license back. And it was like, it took months, and the implications on him financially for having to get to work, and like, it was really hard. So if you are a right side or you're becoming a right side, look into your state regulations for transportation and sort of get ahead of some of those hurdles, because most people are shocked and it ends up being kind of a bummer. Thank you guys. Any other comments here about transportation? Sorry, we were talking about prosthetic maintenance and backup plans. I will share that I was out hiking with my son, and I have to sit every like 5 to 8 minutes because of my vascular condition. And so I would have to lug, like a bag for all of our food that was in a cooler, the backpack that had all the extra things for him, and then I needed to bring something where I could sit, because not always was there something appropriate, and getting all the way to the ground and up, especially if you take your liner off and things stick to it, was really hard. So I actually found on Amazon, for anybody that needs frequent breaks and likes to be outside, it's a stool. It's like it folds open to a stool, but it's also a backpack. So you actually can carry it, hike with it. And you can leave all your food or your snacks or your stuff in it. And then every time you need a break, you just sit it down, pop it open. I actually brought it to his first soccer practice this weekend in a field, and it was helpful too. So if that's something relevant, look for seats or stools that are made into backpacks to lighten your. I feel like we're always a Sherpa. Like, for some reason, we're the disabled folks in the crowd, but we've got like the 6 bags. So for me, condensing is always the name of the game. If there's not any other comments, we'll keep moving through, because I swear time is like warping every time we all chat. Okay, so the clothing, shoes, and comfort adjustments. This is a great topic. I continue to find things where I'm like, oh, I wish that I knew 5, 6, 8 years ago. But one thing that I'll lead off with, and I would love to hear how you guys have modified your clothing, or what shoes you prefer, how you deal with heel height changes and all of that. That's really helpful. But the one thing that I found is, I thought that I was going to throw all my jeans away when I became an amputee, because and I'm just a BK, but in order for me to access my socket and my liner and, all the way up to the middle or the top part of my thigh, you kind of have to drop trouser, which, here in the winter isn't so fun. So someone at that time had mentored me to put zippers in the inseams of my jeans. And I was able to salvage all of my trousers for work and my jeans by just bringing them to a seamstress and having them put zippers in. And also, if you're someone that is on disability, but you're looking to return to gainful employment, those type of clothing alterations are typically funded by vocational rehab, because they are something that makes you feel comfortable returning to work. So that would be an avenue for financing it. But zippers is a huge deal. And I'm going to show you guys. I went down to Shields. It's a store in Texas when I just visited the Adaptive Training Foundation. And I never buy sandals, because I can never find good ones that give me the arch support and like the stability I need, that don't feel wonky on my prosthetic. I will tell you that I spent way more money than I should have on 3 pairs of these Reefs, ladies. So the brand is Reef. They're water resistant, waterproof, and they have a back heel strap, and they have a little room in the toe box, and they are the same angle as a regular sneaker. And they even have platform options, but I like it because it's super spongy and very kind in terms of like the ground force reaction. These have been so comfortable. And I always, for sandals or anything, even slides, I always put Velcro on the bottom of the shoe, and then also on the foot. So on the foot, I use a hard side, and on the bottom, I use a soft side. And that's mostly so I don't just pick up a bunch of stuff around the house. But if you're not doing Velcro in your shoes, game changer. Go ahead, Kim.
I found that you can buy these little straps that go around those sandals that don't have it in the back. I bought a pair of those on Amazon to keep, because I'm looking for a pair of sandals between now and the time I leave for Empire Fest. And I was like, oh, this makes it easier to look for something I really want,
Check out Reef. I'm telling you what, girl, that I'm very picky about comfort, and these are real, real nice.
Thank you.
I love that. Yeah, and you're right. They even have them for what are those shoes where you put your feet in and it has the thing in the middle? Flip-flops.
Oh, flip-flops?
Flip-flops too, yeah. Go ahead, Erica.
So my foot does have the toe cleavage between the big toe and the next toe to allow for thongs, but I think it's hilarious. That's what I call it, toe cleavage. Um, I got these shoes this summer. They're made by Keen. They're like waterproof summer shoes, but they have a ton of spring in the sole, and
Nice.
they've got a really good grip on the bottom of them. They're sandy right now because I just got in from paddle boarding.
Yeah.
But I went on my first hike last weekend. I've been an amputee for like 21 years, and this was the most rigorous hike. I hiked up to a ledge in these shoes, and it was like I felt like I had all the support that I needed, but they were still nice and breathable, which was great.
Oh, that's
Uh,
amazing.
the other thing is, I have an adjustable ankle on my shoe, and I don't even remember what the topic is that we're talking about right now. We're just kind of going on
You're,
the shoe
you're
thing.
right in the vein. Don't worry. You're right.
Okay, cool. So I have an adjustable ankle now, and it allows me to wear heels like this, which is super cool. It's a little pin on the side that locks or unlocks. I'm glad you've got a demo because it's
I'm
much
helping you. Yeah.
much harder for me to pick up my whole leg.
I got you, girl.
You pop a pin and then you can change the ankle. And I was super surprised. I went 18 years on a regular foot. And then I tried walking on heels, and it was actually easier for me to walk on heels than it is to walk on flats. So, all of you ladies who miss walking on heels, don't write it off. Talk to your prosthetist about an adjustable ankle, because like honestly, I feel like for some women being able to wear heels is part of like your identity, your power. It like gives you extra confidence, lifts you up a little bit more. So we don't have to like lose that just because we've lost part of our body. We can still reclaim those parts of ourselves.
Oh, so good. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna go. Is it Shredder? Go ahead, Shredder. That's fun.
All right. Yeah. So I'm up here in the Northeast. I'm up in Maine, and I do like a lot of skiing and just got boots. And so I put a plastic bag over my prosthetic foot, so it slides in and out of your boot just that much easier. The especially the out, it just kind of slides out very very nicely. And so yeah, I do that.
Yeah, that's an
A lot.
amazing tip. That's a really good tip that's helpful for people. And also for people that love wearing cowboy boots or like, there's some of our Texans in the crew here. I've had people go to cobblers and have them put zippers on the side so that you can actually like
Yep.
fully open and get stuff in. And that's a good tip. Also too, I real quick mention, she was talking about her foot is sandy. Don't forget to look up the product Pro Armor. Australian below the knee amputee out there makes Pro Armor. They have a barefoot version, meaning no heel, and then they have one that actually has a little bit of a lift, like a sole, and it keeps the debris and all of that off of your foot shells because it can be really nasty to get in there and clean it up. But check out Pro Armor, ARMOUR, I think. And again, any affordability issues, please let us know. Go ahead, Jeff.
So there's a company called No Limbits that also makes zippered jeans up the inseam. I've had a few pair. They're very durable. They can be a little tight around, I'm a BK, and they can be a little tight around the knee area. Also, LL Bean makes a really good pair of lightweight cargo pants that the legs actually will zipper off and turn your pants into shorts. And I've got probably 5 pair of those. Those are very, very good, and I highly recommend those.
Oh, thank you so much.
Also, the last thing is step-in sneakers. Those I switched. I wore nothing but Asics for 25 years. But I tried a pair of Kizik's on the step-in sneaker, and they're fantastic. So they just made my life much easier. So
It's helpful. Yeah. And to that point, when you think about footwear, I'm always thinking about winter just because winter's approaching here in the New
yeah,
England. But they do have some winter boots that have the zippers on both sides. So like I have a Sorel set of boots, and the zippers on both sides help make it really easy for me to get my prosthetic in and out. And I will also share on the winter topic, if you guys like to ski and you're a below or even above, and you don't want to do an adaptive program, they're great. But if you wanted to try something on your own, they have I think it's ODR or OCR ski boots, and they're mounted like the ski is on the bottom of it. It's like the bottom of the boot itself is like what a ski is. It's so incognito that they'll stop you when you go up the lifts because they don't think that you have skis on, but they're actually rated for the mountains. And it allows for you to essentially only have to change your shoe length rather than a whole ski. And I've found it something where I can actually get up on the mountain, and I never thought that I could do that before. So check out those ski boots if it's of interest to you guys. Go ahead, Barb. Nice to see you.
Hi. I get a catalog from an online company named Buck and Buck, and they sell all adaptive clothing. And they have, oh, what happened? They have sweatpants that have the zippers all the way from the waist down to right before the bottom of the ankle. And they're real nice, and they're like $34 a pair, but they're
Nice.
real good quality.
Wow. Well, you know what I'm going to do, guys? Go ahead, Sean. I didn't see your hand. I'd love to hear what you had to say.
I just wanted to say I have to sign out because I'm going to dinner, but I really enjoyed this and I'll be back for another one.
I can't wait to see you again. Have a great dinner, and thanks for popping in.
Thank you.
So I wanted to share with you guys that, oh gosh, did I lose it? I'm losing my mind, my marbles. What was she talking about?
I was talking about the Buck and Buck catalog.
Oh, thank you. So I always will do a post about what we talked about in these group sessions on our social media, and I'll link it to the YouTube recording for people to do playbacks. And in the description of the YouTube video, I'll try to put links and stuff to different things that people found helpful. So if you guys are interested, when I do the post about tonight's meeting, I'll probably get it up tonight after the meeting. If any of you have the opportunity on our Facebook or Instagram to comment either the link to the product or the product specific information so that anyone that comes to the site can have that adaptive stuff listed out, we would just be so thankful. So just that would be my ask of you guys today if you're able to comment some of these accessible things. All right, we're running out of time. I can't believe this. Last thing I wanted to talk about, because we're not going to get to the finding purpose part, but we'll do a part 3. I wanted to touch a base about relationships and social life. So something that we haven't covered much in our forums here, and I do actually have one of these topics happening by the end of the year, if I can stop doing part 6, 7, and 8 of these conversations, which I don't want to because I love the conversation, but intimacy and dating as an amputee. I feel like it's not covered a lot out there. It's not talked a lot out there, and it's a big situation. So just by a show of hands, like physical hands in the room, who here is in like an ongoing long-term relationship? Okay. And who here, by show of hands, is currently just dating or wants to date? Okay. So I would love to know any stories that you all have. And again, this is a safe space and it's one totally judgment-free. And again, the reason for bringing these things up is to help validate each other, but also to help share some of this information to newer amputees. So I'll start out, but I'd love to hear from you all. I am single. I was married. My husband left me after my amputation, which completely destroyed my confidence. And let's just mute the backgrounds if you guys could. Completely destroyed my confidence and obviously made me feel very unlovable and very disfigured. And, your residual limb is hairy, and I was so ashamed and embarrassed in the situations years later as I was healing that I would get myself into in a relation or a dating situation where I would have to expose my skin. I was so embarrassed of the odor of, under your liner and the hair of my residual limb, to the point where, like, even though it wasn't comfortable, I would leave my leg on because I was so just ashamed. Does anyone else have a similar story or feeling or something that they've gone through? Go ahead, Van.
I don't want to change the mood of the flow of that topic.
That's
but
okay.
if I could mention a site where we can continue and discuss these particular issues about relationships, body image, and intimacy and things of that nature. And it is a Facebook group. You have to answer questions. It's called Amputee Empowerment. Exploring relationships, body image, and something else. But if you read it, if you just look up amputee empowerment, it should pop up with the rest of the title. It
Thank
should
you.
have.
Send that to me, Van, or put it in the comment of the post I put up tonight, because
Okay.
I'd love people to drive that way, because it's such an important topic, and I want people to have forums to have those conversations.
Yes, it
Thank
is.
you.
Thank you.
Crystal, go ahead.
Yeah, Tina, I'm a lot like you. After my amputation, which was just in March of this year, actually, 3 months after my amputation, he left. So, like, was there anything that helped you get past those insecurities or anything like that again?
Not super helpful, not like I'm going to condone it, but tequila worked a couple times. I know. I mean, the honest answer is I would disinhibit myself and try to be more comfortable, and I would, drink some wine or have it just to get past my own, but I was at a point in a stage at that stage, 8 years ago, where like even just being in the shower looking at my limb was so distressful that like if I can't even love it on me and I can't even tolerate it, obviously no one else could see it as looking at. So I think that the real answer I would tell myself back then, and that's true now, is when I came to a place of self-acceptance and self-love, and really acknowledge the value that I as a human have beyond 10 toes and what I offer the world and my core values and like the stuff outside of what I look like that really matters and that would really be the connection to another human. I thought, well, if there's a filter and if someone doesn't like it and I get into an awkward situation, what a good filter that is, because obviously this person is not for for me, right? This person, but it was hard, and it's still sometimes hard, but now I just have such a radical acceptance, and I think that radical acceptance, or I know acceptance is a tough word, but I being okay with how you are in whatever state you are and knowing your value might help.
Perfect. That makes perfect sense. Thank you.
Oh gosh, you're welcome. But again, I love to hear feedback from other folks because I'm still figuring my way too.
Yeah.
Mr. Pop Leg.
Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, you're muted, babe.
Oh, I'm sorry. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm Papa seeing this weekend. I got my grandson, so y'all might hear him in the background here. It'll be 18 years, October 12th, for me and my wife. But it's funny because I'm 8 years. I'll be 8 years actually, October. Right below knee, amputee. And it's funny because maybe 10 years, so 2 years before my amputation, me and my wife, transparency, talk about life, talk about connections. Be careful, talk about connections and all those things. And what happened is this coming from a man, so she didn't believe me. And I just told her if anything would happen, I still would love her the same way I did when I met her. And she didn't believe. Oh, men physical, you just want blah, blah, blah. And so I said, and that's true. The old version of me, that's true. But the more mature version of me is mental and spiritual. The physical is a bonus, right? So
Right.
boom, I have my amputation. I'm dealing with not as a man, not feeling attractive, not only to my wife and kids and all those things that we deal with. I mean, I know women deal with it, but still, you don't feel as attractive, sexy, and validated. And so I just, after praying about it, I just asked her, I had to get that off my chest. Because if whatever would have happened, I had to live with it, right? And I just wanted her to be transparent. If you're not feeling this, right, and you want to move on, by all means, there's nothing I can do about it. I have to deal with what I'm dealing with on my own. And her, along with my mom, was still alive. God rest her soul. She done passed now. All the women in my life said, no, they just wanted me not to be in pain no more. And they wanted me to be comfortable with me being me. It wasn't about she wasn't attracting to me anymore. But that's just transparency that we have, because sometimes people are together for the physical, right?
Mm-hmm.
Until something like that happened, then they bounce. So sometimes I don't mention it unless people speak to it, because nothing changed. Other than my wife believed that a man could love her without thinking physical now. let me let me say that, but that's my story.
What a beautiful story. And I really appreciate your transparency and, your vulnerability. I think that really resonates with a lot of us. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I just wanted to jump in. I am very fortunate in that my wife was there for me during my time of when I lost my leg. I don't think much of people, and I feel sorry for you that they left after your amputation. Anybody that's gone through that person, you didn't realize how little they really cared. And I appreciate people that are there. Yesterday was my wife and I's 31st anniversary,
Oh, congratulations.
and she helps me out with a lot of things now, and also gives me the devil because of when I try to do things that she says, should you really try to do that? And I go, well, I'll find out if I can do it. And another little note I want to throw in from the last topic and stuff to wear, something that I did for a while because I had a very plain prosthetic, kind of skin colored almost, but not real close. Now I have a nice black one that's looks much better. But before, I wore things like this over my prosthetic, and it came like that. And I had one like this, and you could get them from a place online called Fred's Legs, and they make all sorts of patterns, and I have a number of other ones. I'm not wearing them now because I like more of the looks of my prosthetic, but before I always wore those just to let people know if they want to change what their prosthetic looks like or get a little fancy. Uh, those are things you can get.
Thank you so much. I know we've got one or two more comments, and then I know we're over time. So let's just honor these last couple comments. And then, gosh, I love this group. This is such a great communication and dialogue. Go ahead, Erica.
Thanks, Tina. So, first of all, I wanted to say that one of the biggest things that I've learned when I've gone through tough medical phases of my life is that in those times you really learn who your true friends are and who really loves you. And it can be a hard lesson, but it's also a valuable lesson because it tightens your core and in the end hopefully can make the relationships that withstand that stronger. I wanted to touch upon the conversation of online dating because I feel like those of us who are dating, a lot of us are in that world. And because where else do you meet people these days other than online? A bar? I don't want to meet somebody who hangs out at a bar all the time. I don't know. Anyway, so I learned early on when I started doing online dating that if I included words like prosthetic, amputee, crutches, stump, anything like that, that people could actually search profiles for those words. And if they had amputee fetishes and they were looking to talk to amputees, they could find me by having those words in my profile. So I quickly removed all of those words from the profile and I made sure that I had pictures of me standing on my prosthetic. So if somebody was looking through my pictures, it wouldn't be a surprise that I was an amputee, but I'm not interested personally in having somebody find me because I am an amputee. I totally get that there might be amputees out there who are actually into the fetishizing, but it's not me. And so that was an interesting lesson for me to learn. And I also if anybody wants to talk more about what amputee fetishes there are out there, if you feel like you want to get educated on that, then I don't know, maybe that's a conversation for another night, or we could, I don't know, Tina, but
Yeah,
I
I think
think,
another night would be great because it is a rabbit hole and there's actually some really good resources that are out there and it's a really alarming situation. I'll actually put that on my list, Erica, of one that we can do and maybe we can partner with Be More Adaptive and Caitlin Connor as well.
cool.
Yeah, thank you so much. All right, Van, last guy to lead us out. What do you got, bud?
Well, I just want to let you ladies know you're not the only ones that deal with body image and, esteem type of issues after amputation. Yeah, I've experienced it myself, but, you can get over it though. But just want to let you know it happens for both genders.
Oh, yeah, thank you so much for saying that. We're not alone. You hear that? Go ahead, Erica.
I just wanted to say one more thing.
Yeah.
And Tina, if you want to include this in your link, that would be great. But guys, I did a TED Talk last year here in Portsmouth, and my topic is how to live a whole life without a whole body. And it's 14 minutes and a few seconds long. You can find it on YouTube if you search my name, Erica Kinney, but Tina's going to link it as well.
Yeah, I'll link
And
that. It's a great, you did an awesome job.
thank you. Yeah, and I talk about a lot of stuff that we face when we're becoming an amputee, but it also translates into every person's life. So it can the message translates and I think being being brave enough to live your life to the fullest, because you only get one life. These are the cards that you're dealt with. This is what you got to live with. But if you can just like get out there and live your life, follow your passions, not focus on what you do have, on what you don't have, focus on what you do have. Like life is a gift and don't take it for granted. Do something with it. Helping others can help you feel better about yourself. And thank you guys all for showing up tonight, because
Yes.
being part of a community is huge. So I really appreciate seeing you all here, and thanks Tina for organizing this.
Oh my gosh, this is such a blessing. It's my favorite day of the month. It's been such an honor seeing all you guys spend, like I said in the chat, your most valuable asset, which is your time showing up and being together and sharing stories and just listening. Please invite other amputees that you feel need a positive, uplifting, informative community, and they can just register on our Heart to Heart in the About section of our website. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you all same time, same bat channel next month. And if you're registered here for today, you'll keep getting those email reminders for upcoming months. So I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your evening. Happy fall, and I'll see you all next month.
Thank you, Tina.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye now.
Bye.